And I think it's fair to say that creativity is something which is given to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we grow up with a daunting spirit that tells us, how dare you be creative?
Bonjour à tous, c'est Anne Guéquière. Welcome to Metamorphose, the podcast that awakens awareness. I am Anne Guéquière, author and editor of projects committed to a new world. Every week, we go together to discover a bright subject with a guest that carries a voice of awareness. Thank you for being with us today.
Metamorphose. Awaken your consciousness.
Cela fait très longtemps déjà qu'Aromazone fait partie de ma routine beauté quotidienne et je suis contente que cette belle marque française engagée nous accompagne comme partenaire de Métamorphose. Je vais donc vous confier mes produits incontournables. Alors le matin, j'applique leur fameux sérum à l'acide hyaluronique avant ma crème qui hydrate, repulpe et rend la peau lumineuse. Et le soir, ou bien après une belle et intense journée en studio, je prends un temps pour moi en utilisant leur crème riche en collagène vegan, espilante, à la fois douce et réconfortante. Je complète le tout avec leur cure de collagène marin en complément alimentaire. C'est ce qu'on appelle le in and out, prendre soin de sa peau de l'intérieur et de l'extérieur. Bien sûr, chacun peut retrouver les produits qui lui ressemblent et c'est cela qui est formidable chez Aromazone. Leur expertise scientifique, la qualité de leur formule à l'efficacité prouvée, naturelle et sans ingrédients controversés en font une référence du soin au naturel. Alors pour définir votre propre routine beauté ou bien-être, rendez-vous sur aroma-zone.com ou en boutique. Are we all potential artists, creative types who ignore it? Is everyone capable of writing a book, a play, an opera? Or creating works of art like paintings or a film? For several decades, my guest has been providing keys and even specific tools to unleash our creativity, strengthen our confidence in our creative abilities. The author of numerous books on the topic sold at more than 5 million copies, as well as plays, musicals, and other works. She enlightens us on ways to connect with an infinite source of inspiration within ourselves, an eminently spiritual source. She has inspired so many generations on creativity. 2 of her books are being published in French this October 15 by J'ai Lu Éditions, The Artist's Way Workbook, and Write for Life, a toolkit for writers. I am so thrilled to welcome the great writer and artist, Julia Cameron. Hi, Julia.
Hi, and it's good to be here.
Yes, it's super good to be here. Thank you for accepting this interview. I think it's one of your very first interview with the French audience. Do you know they love you, Julia?
Aha. It is my first interview with a French audience.
Yes.
I was hoping that I would be able to understand you and your accent. And so far, so good.
Yes, I would like to tell my audience that there will be 2 versions of this interview, one in French, translated in French, and one in English. And I'm so sorry with my not so charming French accent. Do you speak French, by the way, Julia? No, you don't.
No, I don't.
You don't. I just want to thank Jérôme Oliveira, your French editor, who made this interview possible. And being said, I have to tell the audience that you are actually in Santa Fe. We can hear some maybe coyotes in the mountain, and I am currently in Europe. And my first question for you, Julia, is at the end, what does it mean to be an artist, to be a creative? Is it our true essence? For those who believe, could we even call it our divine essence?
Yes, I think we can call it our divine essence. I believe that all of us have an internal spark of divinity that allows us to move forward into creativity.
You say that creativity is not just what you do, but who you are. It's like a statement in your book. It's very important.
Yes, I think it's fair to say that creativity is who we are. And I think it's fair to say that creativity is something which is given to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we grow up with a daunting spirit that tells us, how dare you be creative? And then when we work with the tools of the artist's way, we begin to dare to be creative. And I think that's important.
Julia, reading your books and your guides and manuals, we understand how important it is to truly commit to unleash our creativity. Why you encourage people to sign a contract with themselves to formalize this commitment? Why is it so important to commit to this extent? I mean, to be engaged in creativity.
Well, I think that we sign a contract in order to make a commitment to ourselves that we are going to be creative. And I think that the commitment is very important. And I think that we are given what we need to be spurred onward.
And you said, Julia, that be creative is very simple as being a child. But also you said we need tools to come back to that child sense of creativity. Is that a kind of paradox?
Well, I think that we have an inner adult that is in charge of helping with our creativity. And I think that the tools that I suggest are very simple, and they move people in a creative direction. I think that the first tool that is important to talk about is a tool called Morning Pages.
The famous one.
Yes, Morning Pages have become famous. And what are they? There's 3 pages of longhand morning writing about absolutely anything. And you're sending a telegram to the universe that says, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. This is what I want more of. This is what I want less of. And I think that they are a potent form of prayer and meditation, although I think of them as a secular tool. They are important because we are telling the universe what it is we want. And that's important.
Are you still yourself, Julia, writing the 3 pages every day, or now you're a little done with that, or you think it's important to continue that process? Even now, you've been doing that for many years or decades.
Yes, I think it's important to continue doing it. I do morning pages every day. and I've been doing them for over 30 years.
Yes.
And I think that they are a call to the universe to say what it is we want. And I think that I still do them because they still work.
Yes. But Julia, are they working as a therapy, or are they working as a creative process, or is it the same thing at the end?
Well, I think that morning pages do work as therapy, but we don't want to think of them as therapy. We want to think of them as a exercise in freedom. And I think that if we do them, we very often come up with answers in a few weeks that would have taken us years of conventional therapy to arrive at. And I think this is because the morning pages are given to us as private, personal. No one is to see them except ourselves. And as we do them, we find ourselves saying, oh, I didn't know I felt like that. And we often do feel like that.
Do we need to go handwriting, and do we need to reread them after or not?
Well, I think it's important that they are written by hand. I think there's sort of a direct line from your heart to your hand. And that as you write them longhand, you begin to have an experience of inner intimacy. And I think we often wonder, should I be rereading them? And I don't think it's necessary to reread them. I think that as you write them, you make them indelible to yourself. And I think that it's a good practice to skip reading them. And I think that they are made well, I'm at a loss for words, because what we're talking about is authenticity and integrity. And as we write them, we have an experience of ourselves as spiritual beings. And I think that that's very important. And when we try to say, oh, but I want to reread them, it's because we're afraid we're going to miss something important.
Yes.
And my experience with morning pages is that you don't miss something important. They tell you what's important again and again. And I think that it's important to realize that morning pages are, I want to say, they're confessional.
They are confessional, you said. Are we supposed to be believers or spiritual oriented to do it, or not necessarily? I'm thinking of the people who don't have a special belief, for example.
I don't think you need to have a spiritual connection in order to do the morning pages. What they do is they give you a spiritual connection. They give you a conduit to a higher self. And I think I have many people who are atheists and agnostics, and they find the morning pages work for them. So I think it's not necessary to have a feeling of a spiritual connection ahead of time. And they are a gateway, if you would, to a spiritual connection.
So some people they made they gave back to you like a testimony. They were agnostic, and doing that they started to be spiritual. And was it a long process for them, or sometimes it was kind of suddenly they were like touched by the grace, for example, doing that?
Well, I think that the spiritual connection comes pretty rapidly. I want to say something like, in 3 weeks' time, you'll begin to have a spiritual connection. I'm not sure that that's an accurate figure, but it is rapid. And what happens is we start to notice synchronicity. And synchronicity is the uncanny meshing of our inner reality and an outer reality. We begin to be in the right place at the right time. And I think that as we find ourselves feeling spiritually connected, we find ourselves feeling happier.
Happier, yes. And how can we use a synchronicity on our day-to-day life? For example, you use it as a very practical tool, you're saying.
Yes, I think it is a very practical tool. I think we experience synchronicity as a sense of luck in our lives, and we come to count on it. And I think that we find ourselves feeling a sense of connection to a higher source. And that higher source gives us answers. And as we increasingly come to rely on it, we find ourselves acknowledging the answers that we receive.
Julia, did you experiment other ways apart from writing to experiment that connection?
Well, I'm a writer.
Yes.
And so I found myself feeling like writing was the perfect gateway, and that writing would allow me to connect. And I have a sister who's a painter, and she said, I don't see what writing is going to do to help my painting. But she found that as she wrote, her painting improved. And she found herself saying, oh, maybe there is something to this writing business.
It's funny because are we all writers? I mean, we are not supposed to write to be published or read by others all the time. For some people, writing is just a process, as you said, of creativity, but for their inner self.
Well, if I'm following your question accurately, I would say that writing is an inner doorway, and that it gives us access to a higher source. And I think I think we're all able to write, and we use words consciously, and that as we use words, we find ourselves saying and doing things that are feeling newly appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Your book is about a 12-week process. I mean, the Artist's Way workbook. Why do you think 12 weeks are important? I know you were familiar with the AA, the Anonymous Alcoholic process. They have the 12 weeks as well, with as well a spiritual path on that. I think that the AA came from a Jung perspective at the beginning. I'm not sure about that. The Carl Gustav Jung, the Swiss psychiatric. But my question is, being on a process on 12 weeks, how is it important for you?
Well, what I found was that it took about 12 weeks for people to wake up. And I didn't really think of it as having to do with AA. I thought of it as having to do with elapsed time showing us a result. So I think that that 12 weeks gave me a way to quantify what was happening. I found that at 9 weeks, people weren't finished.
Yeah.
And at 12 weeks, people were convinced of the value of the tools. And so I made it a 12-week course.
Can you describe briefly maybe the process of the 12 weeks? Maybe not the 12, but I mean the process.
Well, I think it's a process of spiritual awakening. And I think people start out skeptical. And if I'm teaching a large class, I will look from the front of the room and I will see arms folded across the chest and heads tilted to one side and a sense of skepticism. And as we go forward, the body language relaxes. And you begin to see that the term enlightenment is a literal term. People's faces light. And they begin to have feeling of trust and confidence. And then at the midpoint of the course, they find themselves saying, oh, I want to go back to where I was.
Oh, yeah.
And I say, oh, just hang on. Just stay firm. And so as they do that, they find themselves. I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Yes, because I just touched my pages. I'm sorry. I just turned the page from page 1 to page 2. Sorry, Julia. Go ahead. Pardon me.
No, so it's just that as we find ourselves sticking with the course, we find ourselves waking up to a new source of interconnection.
They are writing every day when they follow a course with you, or when they are following the workbook. Do they write, of course, every day? They are clarifying the mind, you're saying. Everything becomes more clearer.
Mm-hmm. I think it does create a sense of clarity. I think that people find themselves feeling more clear, more creative, more effervescent, more more aware. And it's as if they find themselves saying, well, maybe this was this way all along, but I didn't realize it.
What is the main or the more visible blockage that you see? You're talking about imperfection. People are scared not to be perfect, and they are searching for perfection all the time. So they have to unleash that issue.
Yes, perfectionism is a primary block. And I think that morning pages allow you to evade your inner perfectionist. Morning pages are a source of inspiration. They are a source of power. They allow you to realize that you don't have to do things perfectly, that you can begin where you are, and that if you begin where you are, you will eventually be led to a sense of strength.
And you're also saying that we need to have dates with ourselves. It's you've been talking about synchronicity, but as well you're talking about dates. It's a big tool in your workbooks, both of them.
Yes, I think we're talking now about something called an artist's date.
Yes.
And an artist's date is 2 parts, artist and date. And what we are doing is we're taking a solo expedition to do something that enchants or interests us. And I think we are out to woo our inner consciousness. And I think that it's important to do artist states because they refill our inner well. When we make a piece of art, we're drawing on an inner well. We're hooking ideas, hooking concepts. And what happens is if people are working flat out, they sometimes find it elusive to find ideas. And when I say to them, well, what you need to do is an artist state, they say, I don't see what play has to do with creativity. They say, I understand working on my creativity, but I don't understand play. And I say to them, well, we have an expression, the play of ideas. And we realize that if we play, we will have ideas. So I think it's very important to take artist states and awaken a sense of inner whimsy. And it's important to say, what would my inner 8-year-old like to do? And then to do something to please the inner youngster.
Do you think we can provoke more creativity, writing, and also walking? You're talking about at the minimum walking twice a week. So do you think that breathing, walking helps the process as well?
Yes, I think you're exactly right on when you say that walking helps the process. And when we walk, we experience endorphins. And I'm not sure if you have that expression in France, but endorphins are inner creative booster rockets. And they are things that we don't want to do without. So I ask them to walk twice a week for about 20 minutes, just a brief walk. And I say to them, now, notice your environment. And they do. And walking becomes a favorite thing for people.
Yes. It's walking. Can it be as well singing or playing, I don't know, painting for your sister, for example, or an instrument? Or walking for you is the best association with the writing and creativity?
Well, I think walking is something that happens to wake us up. And it's important to walk without music, with a sense of connection to a benevolent something that overarches our environment. And I think walking gives us a key. I think walking gives us a key.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I love to walk. And I think humans, we're not here to be sitting on a chair. We are talking on a chair right now. But human being always has been walking all the time from one place to another. And Yes, I think it's a good tool to give to the people as well. And do you prefer to write before walking or after, or it doesn't matter?
I don't think it matters.
No. Okay, that's great. For writers, your second book is on a tool for writers. It's based on a 6-week program, not 12 weeks. And is it made for writers who want to be published or writers who want just to enjoy themselves on writing? What is the purpose with this workbook?
Well, I think it's for enjoyment.
Yes, always. Yeah.
I think we write for a sense of inner satisfaction. And we don't write with an eye toward publication. We write with an eye toward productivity.
Mm. Do you think you're saying that I don't know how you said that, but I remember reading you were saying that the writing is catching you somehow. I mean, you're kind of possessed with it. It's something you still experiment, or people can experiment doing the method and the process?
Well, yes, I think that writing is something that people experiment with, and they find themselves hooked.
Yes, hooked, yes. That's the word you said before, sorry. Yes, hooked. They are hooked from the principle, or at any time in the process they could be hooked. I was hooked one time, few times, but recently I was hooked in a train. Suddenly, it's like the words, they wanted to come, and it was immediately, and I have to stop all what I was doing just to write at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I was hooked at that moment.
Yes, it sounds like you were hooked.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's an inner imperative that happens when you are open to it.
Open to it is an attitude. It's a way of being. What is it?
Well, I think being open to it is a point of consciousness. And I think we find ourselves feeling a sense of strength.
Yeah, it's important to, I think, to say it. And also, you're talking about the creative clusters. I mean, having a community to support the creative process can be also very helpful, you're saying.
Yes, I think it is very helpful. I think very often the difference between a successful career and a career that languishes is how much creative support they experienced. And unfortunately, many of us don't experience creative support. And so then when we look around and we say, oh, who is able to support me? And we find ourselves naming maybe just one or two people and saying, these are the people that it's safe for me to be creative with. And I think that it's It's an acknowledgement of what's real. We say to ourselves, this person isn't helpful. And we stop listening to them. And then we say to ourselves, this person is helpful.
Yeah.
And so we listen more to them. And creative clusters are little teeny groups that are gathered together to support creativity.
So it can be a small groups or bigger groups, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the notion of talent is secondary, or it's more a commitment to be engaged in that process, or the talent is important as well, or for you the talent doesn't matter at the end of the day?
Well, I think that the commitment to being creative is very important. I would say it's pivotal. And I think that it's an inner commitment.
It's an inner commitment coming from a yes. It's you were talking about an acknowledgement before. It's a yes. We say, okay, I agree with. It's a kind of consent. Sorry.
Well, I think that the inner commitment is one that anybody can elect to do at any time.
Yes. Yes, and anytime we can say yes again and said I commit again. But when we are in the process of the 12 weeks, I'm talking about the Artist Way workbook. Of course, at one point, sometime we just want to abandon because it's so difficult. We go inside ourselves, so we want to give up at one point.
Well, typically I would say week 9.
Week 9, yes.
It's about where people want to give up. And I coax them. I say, don't quit now. You're on the verge. You're on the verge. And coaxing them seems to work better than bludgeoning them.
That's why you said at the beginning that the 12 weeks were so important. And also one thing you're saying that is important is that to celebrate our achievement at some point. That is to say, I recognize that I did a great job. Yeah.
Yes, I did a great job.
Yes.
I congratulate myself on what I've done so far, and I commit myself to going further.
That gratitude attitude is important.
I think attitude is very important. And I think that this is where I have people say to me, Julia, I've been doing morning pages for 23 years. And I have written 13 feature films. And I hear them and I say, that's wonderful. That's, and then I ran into a woman yesterday who said to me, Julia, I met you and you told me to try morning pages. And I did try them. And now I've been doing them for 4 years straight.
Wow.
And I think that the commitment to doing them is important and addictive.
Yes. It's like maybe walking, sleeping, or even breathing. It's like something we need in our life when we start. My brother used to do it, and when I told him this afternoon, I was seeing you tonight, he said, please tell Julia, I've been doing it for decades. And he's a great artist, so he said, tell her thank you. But a lot of people has been using that for so many years. How do you see your mission on Earth? Having published those books with those great success and inspiring people, are you happy with that? Is it a kind of accomplishment for you, Julia?
Well, I'm always excited by someone's creativity. And I feel like it's a breakthrough. And I'm always delighted to have been able to be of service. And I think it's important to say that the tools came about as a means of connection. I came from a big family, and I found myself feeling like I needed to teach my siblings the tools that I was learning. And so I just find now that I have far more siblings than I had imagined.
You have millions of siblings now, Julia Cameron. It's amazing. Do you think that unleashing our creativity helped the world get better? Of course, yeah.
Yes, I think unleashing our creativity makes the world a better place. It makes us kinder.
It makes us kinder because we are aligned with who we are profoundly.
It makes us kinder because we're aligned with who we're intended to be.
You said intended to be because we will never be totally aligned, of course, because we are humans.
But we become, I think that morning pages perform what I call spiritual chiropractic.
Yes.
And that is that they realign us with our values.
I like the words that you're saying about chiropractic. It's very important to say that to understand. We are approaching the end of this interview, Julia. I know you had like 45 minutes, so I don't want to take you more time, but is there another message you want to share with the French audience? The French-speaking audience, I would say, because they will be listening to you from Switzerland, from Belgium, from France, all the French-speaking countries in the world and where French people are. So maybe if you want to share something else.
Well, I think it's important to share that when we write morning pages, we are in effect praying and meditating. And that we are asking for guidance. And I think that it's an important thing to say that guidance comes to us through the pages. And I think that it doesn't matter if you're atheist or agnostic. What matters is that you try the...
Handwriting, as you said. Julia, I want to thank you very much for Julia Cameron for all the tools and insights. You remind us that we are all connected to the same creative source. It's very important, and that through commitment and discipline that create joy within us, it is possible for us to reach great heights. I encourage everyone to read your books, soon to be published in France, the 15th of October. So the titles are The Artist's Way Workbook, and the other one is Write for Life, a toolkit for writers. I want to thank you so much, Julia, for sharing with the French public tonight.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You're in Santa Fe right now. We were hearing coyotes at the beginning of the interviews. So this is the end of the day in Europe and the beginning in the west, in the east coast of America. So thank you so much, and I hope you'll be sharing again for long times of your words. And we are super happy to... I will show pictures of course, the book published in French. In French, it's a cahier d'artiste pour libérer sa créativité. Et inspirez, écrivez 6 semaines pour se défaire des blocages et concrétiser vos rêves d'écriture. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you.
Check out the special guest of the week on Instagram at Metamorphose Podcast. If you like this podcast, promote it by giving it 5 stars on Apple Podcast and subscribe to follow all the episodes for free.
Metamorphose. Awaken your consciousness.